Welcome to Panorama, coming to you from Lagos Network Center. We do hope you had a wonderful Easter break. My name is Ademola Adeoye. Panorama will be back with news making the rounds after this break. Stay with us. After the holidays, to commemorate the Easter celebrations, workers and other Lagosians in the informal sector have resumed business activities. Amechi Pius visited some parts of the Lagos metropolis and filed in this report.
As early as 5 o'clock in the morning, workers and other business owners were seen returning to their duty post. The long queues and the usual hustle and bustle that characterize major roads within the Lagos metropolis are gradually coming alive. Some workers who spoke to NTA News expressed readiness to resume work.
I'm so excited to come back normal business.
After 4 days of resting at home, at least one is refreshed, one is strong again to go back to work.
Back to work again because after the university period, I realized it's needful for us to resume back to work.
Thank God, today is Tuesday, back to work.
While those in the informal business, like these traders at the popular Balogun market, were seen displaying their wares for prospective customers, commercial banks and other corporate offices in the informal sector have also opened for business. Our investigations also revealed that those who travel to other parts of the country to be with their loved ones for the Easter holiday have started returning. In Lagos, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
Reverend Williams Okoye of the All Christian Fellowship has advised Nigerians to be thankful to God for a peaceful outcome at the presidential and National Assembly elections. Basi Ita Epan reports.
Easter service was stopped. Nigerians should thank God for peaceful elections, commended President Jonathan's contribution to credible elections in the country.
This man does not care whether he wins or loses. The important thing for him is that the electoral process is cleaned up so that people's vote can count.
While congratulating the president-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari, on his victory at the polls, he noted that his reputation as a statesman committed to eradicating corruption in governance has given Nigerians hope for a better tomorrow. Reverend Okoye called on Nigerians to join hands with the incoming government to reconcile all aggrieved parties. In Abuja, Basi Taipan, NTA News.
As people all over the world continue to react to the outcome of March 28th presidential election, Nigerians in China believe the will of the people eventually prevailed. Julieta Aino met some Nigerians in Beijing, calling on the elected government to stay true to his responsibility to the people and the country.
Any other place to go than Nigeria. So the peace we witnessed, the peace we saw is what is giving us a very good comfort here, even as we are far away from home.
Still thankful for a successful, free and fair election in Nigeria, Nigerian students in China are urging the new government to rise to the challenges of the country from the first day in office.
Well, we expect that it should be able to, at least on priority list, the issue of security, economy, and employment for young Nigerians.
The president-elect has been advised to reach out to all Nigerians and heal the wounds created during campaign.
He's now the president and he's the president of everyone. He needs to secure our people and our nation. He needs to work with other countries like he has promised to secure our borders.
Some Chinese businessmen who have investments in Nigeria have also expressed best wishes for the new government and hope for more cooperation between Nigeria and China. From Beijing, China, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
Israel has expressed her willingness to assist Nigeria to fight corruption, terrorism, and to develop agriculture. In a statement by the media director of the Buhari Presidential Campaign Organization, Garba Shehu says this is in a congratulatory message signed by the Israel president delivered to President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari.
The Israeli leader noted similar challenges in the two countries' daily struggles. And the latest news regarding the Boko Haram-ISIS alliance, he said Israel stands shoulder to shoulder with like-minded countries to unite in the challenging task to fight against such insurgents. He wished General Buhari every success in building relations of friendship and cooperation between Nigeria and Israel. The President-elect expressed his warm appreciation of the gesture and said he would work with all countries for mutual benefit. The message was delivered by the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria.
The Chairman Board of Trustees of the PDP, Chief Tony Aneni, has congratulated the President-elect, General Muhammadu Buhari. Chief Aneni noted that Nigerians are expecting great things from the President-elect and therefore urged him to take the country to greater height to fulfill his manifest destiny.
Chief Aneni, in a statement, also commended the statesmanship of President Goodluck Jonathan in conceding defeat even before the official declaration of results. He noted that by this noble act, history will be kind to the president, who he said has made an indelible mark on the sands of time. Chief Aneni further noted that President Jonathan has worked selflessly to deepen democracy in Nigeria, adding that his consistent advocacy of the rights of the people to freely choose their leaders had earlier yielded free, fair and credible elections in some states. Chief Aneni equally noted that a keenly contested presidential election, which many predicted will spell doom for Nigeria, has ended gloriously with everyone a winner and the country at peace. He commended the General Abdul Salam Abubakar-led Peace Committee for its moral advocacy that led to the non-violent reception of the outcome of the presidential election. While congratulating Nigerians on the success of the presidential and National Assembly elections, Chief Aneni urged them to participate in the governorship and state assembly elections with the same zeal and patriotism. He said that while there may be genuine reasons to disagree with certain aspects of the last elections, those who may still be aggrieved should emulate the magnanimity and selflessness of the president so that Nigeria may enjoy peace needed for its march to greatness and prosperity.
The Electoral Commission says the smart card reader will be used for the April 11, 2015 elections.
The provisions of the guidelines for the conduct of the 2015 general elections, which outlined what is to be done if a card reader fails and cannot be replaced by the Commission within a specified rescheduled time for the election to the next day, will be enforced. A statement signed by the Secretary to the Commission, Mrs. Augusta C. Ogaku, indicates that the relaxation of the guideline on the 28th of March was only with regard to the Presidential and National Assembly elections held on that date. The Commission has reviewed the operation of the card reader in the 28th March elections, identified the challenges, and has taken adequate measures to address them.
As Nigerians prepare for the governorship and House of Assembly elections this week, PDP stakeholders in Imo State met to strategize on how to have a good outing. Narom Emecheta reports.
They represent various groups of Igbo-speaking communities in Lagos. Their mission to the palace of the Oba of Lagos was to assure him of their resolve to cast their votes for the APC gubernatorial candidate in Lagos State, Akinwumi Ambode.
What we are going to do now is to go back to our people and tell them exactly what they are going to do. That we have sworn with the Oba here in presence of everybody, in daylight, not night, that we are going to make sure that Ambode win on Saturday. And that's what we are going to tell them. We are not only the people that are going to do, we are going to tell our people in the various local governments and LCDS. That is what we are going to do. Tomorrow, immediately tomorrow now we start work.
The Oba of Lagos was, however, more optimistic that the APC gubernatorial candidate in Lagos will emerge victorious in the polls come Saturday 11, 2015.
They are part and parcel of us. After he must have been defeated, if he has any good things to do for Lagos, let him bring it forward. They will incorporate him. We are all the same team. Politics has come, politics will go, people will remain. I don't wish and pray bad for him. I always say it, that is part and parcel of this. But this one, by the grace of God Almighty, and my answer is no going back.
In Lagos, Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
Well, that story was actually the Indigbo at Oba's Palace, where some Indigbo chiefs and elders in Lagos pledged their total support for the election of the APC gubernatorial candidate in Lagos, Akinwumi Ambode, come Saturday, 11th, 2015. We'll now move on to other stories now. Nigerians have been urged to maintain the peaceful posture exhibited on March 28th elections in the forthcoming governorship and State House of Assembly polls to ensure violent-free polls. The People's Democratic Party House of Representatives elect representing Oshodi Solo 2, Tony Nwulu, made this call at a media briefing in Lagos. Olajide Bello reports.
The smooth and peaceful conduct of the March 28th elections, the PDP House of Representatives-elect, Mr. Tony Nwulu, say is an indication that Nigeria's democratic system has become worthy of emulation given its credibility. Tony Nwulu said Nigerians, irrespective of tribe, religious, political or ethnic affiliations, should endeavor to embrace peace at all times.
The Igbos, Hausas, Yorubas alike, and all other ethnic groups truly know who their real friends is. And when the time is right, I believe they will state that with their votes.
He commended President Goodluck Jonathan for his spirit of sportsmanship in conceding defeat and congratulating President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari. Gani Taufik, the Lagos State PDP Public Relations Officer, appealed to its party supporters to come out en masse and vote in the Saturday, March 11 elections while conducting themselves peacefully. In Lagos, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
A coalition of 10 governorship candidates of different political parties in Lagos State have unanimously decided to support the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Akinwumi Ambode, in the state. Chairman of the coalition, Akiola Obadia, stated this at a media briefing in Lagos. Ken Egbeluhe has the details.
The chairman of the coalition, Akiola Obadia, told newsmen that the decision to step down for the APC governorship candidate was born out of the desire to move the state forward. He explained that considering the enormous achievements recorded by APC administration in the state, it therefore become mandatory for the 10 governorship candidates to rise above sentiment and selfish ambition to support the APC candidate Akinwumi Ambode.
We, the 10 gubernatorial candidates in Lagos State, collectively as a candidate of various political parties, have decided to join hands together with Mr. Akinwumi Ambode of the All Progressive Congress to give Lagosian a deserving government at this time.
Other members of the coalition spoke on the need to work together for the common interest of the state.
Our social welfare programs with which our supporters have accepted us will be inculcated in the service delivery of the incoming government.
We have considered what is right for Lagosians and for Lagos State. That is why we are coming together for what we are doing today.
The coalition, however, enjoined all its supporters across the state to vote the APC governorship candidate in the April 11th election in Lagos. Ken Egbeluge, NTA News.
We now take a break for some messages, after which Panorama continues. Stay with us. Imo State, as Nigerians prepare for the governorship and House of Assembly elections this week, PDP stakeholders in Imo State met to strategize on how to have a good outing. Norom Emecheta reports.
The PDP stakeholders meeting in Owerri was at the instance of the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, and the party's governorship candidate in Imo State, Chief Emeki Hedioha. The essence of the meeting, which has in attendance the successful candidates of the party in the just concluded National Assembly elections in the state, was, according to Chief Ihedioha, to re-strategize ahead of the governorship and state assembly elections.
We are poised to move our state forward, and the People's Democratic Party is determined to take over power, and we believe that Imo people would once again vote us massively in the elections of April 11.
Chief Ihedioha, as the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, used the forum to congratulate General Buhari on his election victory. The chairman of PDP, Chief Nnamdi Anyehe, says the victory which the party recorded in the last elections will be replicated in the April 11 elections. Fielding questions from newsmen, the party stakeholders stated that the people of Imo State had nothing to lose in the incoming Buhari administration, pointing out that only what was required in the new dispensation to come to improve the socio-economic status of the state is a governor who knows what good governance is all about to deliver. In Owerri, Naram Emecheta, NTA News.
We now move on to other stories now. Countries within the Gulf of Guinea have resolved to jointly build maritime capabilities and forge partnerships that will ensure absolute security in the Gulf of Guinea. This consensus was reached at the just concluded military exercise tagged Obageme Express, which took place in Ghana. Lynn Lenike reports.
The threat posed by the activities of pirates, smugglers, oil theft and human trafficking has had negative impacts on social, economic and political life of countries in the Gulf of Guinea. These crimes transcend international boundaries. Therefore, the concerted efforts by the countries within the Gulf of Guinea call for effective collaboration as well as strengthening of strategies to curtail the rising maritime threats. These informed the joint exercise Obagame Express 2015. Ghana's Vice President Kwesi Amusa Athol and the Deputy Commander United States Naval Force James Fugu agreed that the joint exercise inspired a united response to the threats of maritime security.
These maritime challenges, security challenges, threaten global trade and the economies of the countries in the region. It requires collaborative effort to combat it.
To join this global network of navies during the International Sea Power Symposium in Newport. He stressed the importance of strengthening the bonds of international maritime cooperation so that we're better postured to collectively face new and emerging challenges in the 21st century.
Rear Admiral Jonathan Ango, who led the Nigerian Navy to the joint exercise, pointed out that countries within the Gulf of Guinea, especially Nigeria, have lost huge resources to maritime criminals.
What we are developing right now is a surveillance mechanism. Once we have the surveillance mechanism, and then there are bilateral and multilateral relations that have been worked out between the countries of the Gulf of Guinea, I think a lot will be achieved.
According to the Nigerian Navy, collaboration such as this is testimony to the country's commitment to improving economic ties and cooperation in the field of regional security. From Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, I am Lynn Lenake.
The need for maritime stakeholders to collaborate with the federal government in its bid to improving ports operations was the focus of discussion at a maritime forum in Lagos. Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Hassan Bello, also reeled out measures government is putting in place to ensure efficiency.
One of the major issues discussed at the forum was the congestion of trucks on major highways, which stakeholders said constitute a major hindrance to trade facilitation. Executive Secretary, Nigerian Shippers Council, Hassan Bello, said the issue of congestion of trucks will soon be resolved because the council is working with the truck owners on ways to ensure standardization.
Government has a corresponding responsibility to provide stable, predictable policies, and sometimes flip-flops, by the government could cause, some disturbances. But I think the way the NAC is going about it is the best way.
He disclosed that the council will partner with government agency, that is, the Automotive Council, on how to ensure the standardization. The Director General of the Automotive Council pledged the cooperation of the organization.
We'll pledge further cooperation, in particular as we are building a portal that will house the VIN numbers of all the vehicles imported and also produced in Nigeria.
Other issues discussed at the forum include developing manpower for the maritime sector, local content development, and port charges.
And in the spirit of Easter celebrations, the Apostolic Faith Church Choir and Orchestra, in commemoration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ, organized Easter concert. The report.
This is the Apostolic Faith Church Choir and Orchestra, which entertained the audience with various songs of praise. The district superintendent of the church, Reverend Emmanuel Adeniran, urged Nigerians to seek God's intervention for the nation.
Whoever looks unto him can be free from moral corruption, both externally and internally, and can live a life that gives praise to God.
Everybody must play his own part. Once we've played our own part, God will bless us and make us a shining example to the other nation.
I mean, this is the strongest choir in Africa. What makes them strong? Commitment, discipline, integrity, and they put in everything, teamwork.
The annual event is to celebrate Jesus Christ's victory over sin and death.
Well, that's our package on Panorama from Lagos Network Center. Thanks for being there. Bye for now.